The changes that have happened in the credit card space over the past few months have been absolutely nuts. Across the board, annual fees are going up, while perks are being taken away almost at the same time. It feels that the ground that we're standing on with everything we thought we knew is starting to shift. In fact, some people are calling 2025 the year of the downfall of premium travel credit cards. Here's a mistake that most outsiders make. They assume that all premium travel credit cards are going downhill. They assume that sure, there are different banks with different named cards with different perks, but it's all going to be pretty much the same at the end of the day. Pay a ridiculous annual fee and get some perks and experiences, but it's just going to be tough to swallow. I'm here to tell you today that that is simply not true. This credit card, the Capital One Venture X, is not only bucking those trends, it may be the solution to all the problems created by what we've seen the last few months. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why. Hey, my name is Rick, and I help you save more, earn more, and at the end of the day, experience more using credit cards. If you're into that, subscribe to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something we're all thinking about, whether we've been in the game for a long time or are just passing by and want to experience some of what this is all about. And that's the fact that premium cards are getting worse, but that I still believe that this credit card right here solves all of the problems we've seen in the last few months. That's because after researching hundreds of credit cards on this channel, I've boiled it down to pretty much 3 different areas that someone is looking for in a great travel credit card. And that's everyday power, travel lifestyle, and true value. So right now, I'm going to explain those 3 concepts. And if you know how to use the Venture X in a savvy way, show you why this card is beating out the other top players in the game and why it's going to be the best option for most people, almost no matter where you're at, as long as you're looking for that premium credit card experience. So can we start at the basics? Everyday power, which is what I define as credit card earnings, plus the simplicity of actually getting those points or miles. Can I start with the elephant in the room here? Shouldn't the most basic function of a credit card be to be good at earning points and miles? Well, between big banks and card refreshes, and especially in the premium space, I think we've completely lost the plot. When you're focused on getting a premium travel credit card, one of the first things you should be concerned about is how you're going to earn points on that card to then create these premium experiences. Let's take a look at the Venture X basics. The card earns 10x back on hotels and rental cars through Capital One Travel. It gets you 5x on flights and vacation rentals also through the portal, and then it earns a flat 2x back on everything else. That means you're earning a minimum, no matter what you purchase, of 2x or 2% on every dollar you spend. In the credit card world, we call this the absolute minimum baseline. If you're above this, you're getting to a good point. But if you trail below this, well, you should be concerned that your credit card isn't really working effectively for you. I can tell you that this number is important because the average American spends $34,000 on purchases that they'll make with a credit card. Now, if you don't care about at least earning a good rate of return on $34,000, well, the credit card game may really not be for you. And I'm starting to get concerned that too many people are avoiding this most basic principle of picking a credit card. Let's look at the American Express Platinum Card. This is American Express's most premium credit card. It earns 5x back on flights booked directly, 5x back on prepaid hotels through Amex Travel, and then a chilling 1x back on everything else. I'll tell you right now, most people are not booking enough in direct flights or hotel stays through that portal to be making up for the 1x back that they're earning on every other category. Now you'll say, hey, wait a second, there is a workaround. Why don't you just add different Amex cards in their travel family to the lineup and boost your point multipliers through that optimization? Well, you could bring in the Amex Gold with its killer earnings in dining and groceries, or you could bring in the green card with its balanced lineup of earnings as well. The Blue Business Plus is an option for 2x flat back on everything, but in that case, you would have to have some sort of a technical business and be willing to put your everyday charges onto that business branded card. However, the options here for a lot are probably really unappealing when you actually get into it. With either the gold card or the green card, You're bringing on significant annual fees into your lineup, which means more card management and more stress at the end of the day to make your money back. If we look across the aisle to Chase, you're actually in a really similar spot now. See, no matter which Chase Sapphire card you get, you're still in a very similar predicament. You've got really two choices, with choice one being to add a ton of other Chase cards to complete a trifecta, looking at the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which is only earning 1.5x back on everything else, and of course having to bring in the Freedom Flex to get yourself maximum point potential. And let's be honest, there's a lot of people out there who don't want to rotate through 3 credit cards to get good points multiplication. Your other choice doesn't feel much better, and that's to simplify things and just hold the Sapphire Reserve and really miss out on a lot of valuable earnings categories, and of course still be left with 1x back on everything else. Finally, the bottom line with Chase is that now the guaranteed 1.5x with the Reserve or 1.25x with the Sapphire Preferred in the travel portal has gone away. I feel a whole lot less good about even recommending a strategy like the trifecta, and I certainly don't feel good about recommending someone just hold the Sapphire Reserve and use that as a method to earn points consistently. All of this put together makes the Sapphire Reserve, its simplicity, and its earning power look really good in this day and age. Now, before I talk about travel lifestyle, I do want to give credit where credit is due to a bank that I think is doing the right things, even though they're not perfect. And that's Citi with their lineup of the Citi Strata Elite, Citi Strata Premier, and their double cash and custom cash options. These cards offer you valuable earnings and a trifecta that really does outperform Chase's in terms of getting points in the door. Citi's doing well, and I'd seriously consider recommending them up against something like the Venture X and the Saver Rewards if someone's willing to take on multiple cards as a competitive alternative to the Capital One Duo. However, that's just in card earnings. You'll see as we look at our other two equally important categories that Citi just can't hold a candle to what Capital One is bringing to the table. However, before I share how the Venture X has made a real play in travel lifestyle, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Max Rewards. For anyone who's considering what we just talked about, maybe managing a multiple card setup, Max Rewards is going to be your secret weapon. Now, if you've been following the channel, you'll realize that if you're a credit card enthusiast, one of the most painful and difficult parts of the game is card management. Honestly, you could do it yourself, but as I'll share with you in a personal story in a second, doing it yourself isn't perfect, and that's why Max Rewards, which can automate pretty much all of the stress and strain with managing credit cards, they can solve a lot of your problems. Max Rewards keeps track of all of my credit card balances in one place. It also has this handy feature which calculates and tabulates the value of my rewards and miles on all my accounts, so I can see in just a glance which accounts need more miles or more points for my next redemption. It also does an incredible job of giving you surplus value by auto-adding any of those offers on any of your issuers of the cards that you have. However, the one situation that Max Rewards saved me recently was, as you know, my family and I just had a baby. And in that time, I had tried to add the Amazon Prime Visa card into my credit card lineup. Well, with all the chaos and confusion in my house, plus 10 other credit cards to worry about, I'd completely forgot to turn on autopay on my Amazon Prime Visa. I was 2 days away from paying a $30 late penalty for missing my first payment when that month balance was due. However, Max Rewards hit me with a notification, made sure I was on track, and I flipped on autopay to save myself that awkward $30 charge and what admittedly would have been an embarrassing misstep. Max Rewards is already returning value in my wallet setup, and if you'd like to experience this yourself, go down below in my link in the description for a free 7-day trial before receiving a 25% discount on Max Rewards Gold when using the code GUARANTEE upon signup. Now let's have an honest conversation about travel lifestyle. These are the perks and the experiences that credit cards bring to the table. I know what you're thinking. Simplicity is great. And Rick, I understand the Capital One Duo, powered by the Venture X, has great earnings multipliers that keep the points coming. However, the reason I want a premium travel credit card is so that I can experience things that I normally wouldn't just with my own money. To that, let me share with you the premium experiences that I've personally gotten on this credit card in just the past year. I've been in and out of the Capital One Lounge network, not only for business travel, but also personal travel too. By the way, you can watch some of my review videos of those Capital One lounges on the channel. I also take advantage of the Priority Pass network, which includes Escape branded lounges, which Kansas City just happened to open the newest in that lineup. So I love that when I'm flying out of my home airport. Additionally, I can't overstate how much I appreciate the TSA PreCheck benefit. I've used Hertz President Circle status for car upgrades and skipping the line at check-in, as well as Capital One Entertainment for free admission to the Fan Fest at the recent Final Four in San Antonio, and took advantage of price drop protection and have had cell phone protection on me and my wife's cell phone for the past year. Now, these are real benefits that I would not have experienced without the Capital One Venture X. Honestly, they've delivered hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in value to me. And while I recognize that the Venture X doesn't have everything, it does provide real value and experiences above and beyond the annual fee that I do pay in to hold that. And that's something I care about, and that's something you're going to enjoy if you're on the fence. Now, in the spirit of transparency, there are a few things that I know I've missed out on. I could probably be getting slightly better travel protections on something like the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I understand that Clear Plus is a better benefit than TSA PreCheck, and that's available on a card like the Amex Platinum. I know that there's a bigger, nicer lounge network on the Platinum card, and the Sapphire Reserve lounges, some of their top tier lounges are probably slightly better than Capital One's. And finally, I would use the Hilton Gold status offered complimentary on the Platinum card. However, when I go through that and I'm actually experiencing things in the real world, I'm not too upset about missing slightly better lounges. Don't think about missing the gold status from Hilton when I'm traveling elsewhere. And I'm perfectly happy with TSA PreCheck as opposed to Clear Plus. So yes, technically there are better benefits, but for the price and the value and not having to do the mental gymnastics knowing that I've already prepaid for a lot of those benefits on those cards, well, for me, the Venture X does just fine when it comes down to travel lifestyle. Finally, let's bring home what so many of you care about when you're evaluating the card, especially real fans of this channel who identify with finding value in their lives. This is what I call the true value that a credit card brings. So to take this conversation one step further, we need to have a serious look about the idea of prepaying for experiences versus actually getting premium experiences as an additional benefit. In my opinion, if you pay $595 to $795 for a credit card and then get back somewhere between $595 and $795 worth of Uber credits, Resi reservations, streaming credits, Walmart credits, Saks shopping credits, well, you haven't created an experience for yourself that you wouldn't normally have had. You simply paid up front at the beginning of the year and forgot that you paid that huge annual fee as you're going through and redeeming these things in tiny chunks throughout the year. When I talk about experiencing more on this channel, I'm talking about surplus benefits. When I pay for the Venture X, I pay $395. When I travel for the first time that year, I'll use a $300 travel credit. When I end the year, I'll get 10,000 anniversary bonus miles. That's made my annual fee. I've prepaid for those two things to just get back to zero. All those benefits and experiences that I listed above that I actually got to use, that's icing on the cake. That's surplus value, and that's the premium experiences that I want, and I think most people want when they're trying to decide which credit card is right for them. Can other premium credit cards act like the Venture X and really give you that kind of surplus value? Well, the Platinum has those credits that are split monthly or semi-annually. They also have a bunch of terms and conditions like the airline incidental credit, where you have to select one airline and it can't be used for tickets, the hotel credit, which has to be used at the FHR or in the hotel collection. The Strata Elite has things like the $300 hotel credit, but you have to stay 2 nights or more, and they've got 6 Exxon dining, which sounds incredible, but it's only during city nights, which are between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. both Friday and Saturday. Sure, these cards can provide premium experiences above and beyond in surplus value compared to that annual fee. However, the bottom line for most is that they're going to be a stressful experience getting through that to find that surplus value, whereas the Venture X just gives it to you, you know where it's coming from, and it's very straightforward. Finally, if you're still on the fence about where the Venture X compares to the other big names in the game today, let me leave you with just one test to decide once and for all. I call this the friend test, a surefire sign that a credit card has true value, plus travel experiences and great earnings, is if it passes the friend test. The friend test is this: if you have a friend that comes up to you and asks your opinion on the credit card that they should get, and if you have to ask more than 2 to 3 questions to determine whether a card would be a good recommendation that you, as their friend, would feel confident recommending to them, that credit card is probably not the choice that will give true value for most people. I say that because I could feel confident recommending to a friend the Venture X as long as I know that they're comfortable with an annual fee, will travel at least once a year, and would like to tap into some of those cooler experiences, and they actually care about that stuff. 2, maybe 3 questions. However, if I were to go and recommend the Sapphire Reserve, Amex Platinum, or even the City Strata Elite, I'd have to sit down with them and look at their finances, and look at their travel habits, look at redemption methods, and look at how they'd potentially plan to use those credits, or else they'd be taking a hit in terms of negative annual fee value off of my advice, and that really wouldn't feel good. The Venture X just passes the friend test, plain and simple. Those other credit cards, you can't really say the same about them. Now, I've shared my personal experience that I believe the Venture X deserves to be highlighted as potentially the single best card in today's day and age. I explain that through the everyday power it gives you in the earnings, the travel lifestyle benefits, and bringing it all together, the true value the card holds. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree. And if you feel that the Venture X is the best card for you, well, you can support the work that I do here on this channel by using the referral link down below in the description if you decide to apply. Thanks so much for watching as always. I can't wait to see you in the next video.